Love that. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appreciate the master
years ago.
Hi everyone. My name is Paul, 7 Mountain View School. I'm with two gentlemen here. I'm Mr. Care, I'm a teacher Martin. Yes, and I don't know how I have to say it. I wonder whether I have to kiss this lady or what do I do? This was my pupil at Mountain View School some like 10 years ago.
More than? No, secretly.
I am humbled. Just continue. I have no words.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. He was our deputy. Wow, it's quite something. Thank you so much. Then of course we also have the organizations, but for you we're going to do it after the next speaker. And we have representatives from different countries as well. So you make sure you will represent your country. So this is a challenge to you. Whichever country you come from, when you're introducing yourself, you'll tell us something from your country so that we can learn something new about Africa. First Nations is in Africa. All right. Now next, my job is not to speak right now on us. I'll have another session. Right now my job is simply to introduce the speaker. We have a couple of speakers, but the one who's coming on stage is pretty dear to me because we went to high school at the same time, but in different schools. So I went to my girls' school in Nairobi and she went to, is it okay if I say? Thank you. She went to St. George's Girls. And why I've said it is because we would do drama festival. Anyone who has participated in drama festival? So we used to do drama festival. And during drama festival, our arch nemesis was St. George's Girls. So we would compete very much, particularly in the dance, in the dancing category, and then the acting would compete with the boys' schools. So seeing Hope, I'm saying it as if I'm old or older, but you'll understand me. Watching her growing up, being a person that I met in Form 1, all the way to Form 4. After that, we were hired by a school called East Africa Media Institute. Because of our talent, there's a reason I'm showing you this. Keep in mind what you've done today. So because of our talent, we were both hired together with Don Paul, who is somewhere here taking photograph here. We were hired to dance and sing and act for that particular media institute. And then after that, she went on to do amazing things, which is what she's talking to us today about. So you can check her topic on the programs. Allow me to welcome Ms. Hope Moturi. Makofi ya festival.
Good morning. How are you? Today is a very nostalgic day, seeing familiar faces when we weren't teens, we were still in our 20s. So yeah, clearly we're no longer in our 20s. And it's been such a long journey. And my name is Hope Muturi. Professionally, I'm a TVET specialist. At least when I look at the audience, I can see people who can understand TVET. Because usually the older generation understands TVET, but the younger generation doesn't. So TVET stands for Technical and Vocational Education and Training. So it's hands-on skills training for the youth. Hands-on skills training for the youth. So examples of TVET institutions are like Kabete National Polytechnic here. Which one else? Tell me. Nairobi Technical, PC Kinyanjui Technical Training. So TVET trains for the blue collar world, okay? So, do I introduce myself or you already? It's very hard to introduce ourselves, but yeah, so I said I'm a TVET specialist. I implement TVET projects on behalf of governments and the private sector, and the governments include the Kenya government, German government, Finland. So we implement TVET projects that are industry-led and relevant training. And just to give a quick background, as a country at some point we lost lost the vigor for TVET. Our parents, depending on what your age is, for us who are older, who have parents in their 60s and 70s, our parents understood TVET, but at some point as a country, we fully focused on university, which is good. University has its own major pathway, and also TVET has its own major pathway. Both have its role in our economy. So universities train for white collar, TVETs train for blue collar. And guess in Kenya, what percentage does the Kenyan economy run on the blue collar? What percentage? 10%? Just guess. What percentage is run by the blue collar economy in Kenya? 70? Good guess. It's actually higher. It's actually higher. The experts will say 80, and the other experts will say 90%. So 90%, up to 90% of the Kenyan economy is run by the blue-collar sector. So really, most of our youths should be getting into the TVET colleges, and it explains why there is very high unemployment rate, because we are trained for the white-collar sector, yet the skills are very few, but Kenya and Africa is run by the blue-collar sector, and also in terms of the 2030 strategy, we are moving into the manufacturing and industrialization space. So that is what I do. So and I got into TVET because of the opportunity that we got with Akinawabi, Don Paul, and there was another, the camera guy, because I ventured into the TVET space, and I actually studied in TVET, and I underwent a lot of stigma because I chose the TVET route, because I did not go the degree way. And after that I realized there is very poor perception in our country, and with that, it's a long story. But over time, opportunities opened up, and now, don't present yet. Thank you. Utonyeka tuwapo. Asante. Yes, so now currently the project that I'm in charge of is called dual training, and it's a new term in our country, but dual training has been implemented in other countries, including Germany, Switzerland, a lot of countries in Europe, and also the countries in Kenya that implement dual training are South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, and Senegal, which is a smaller economy than Kenya. So currently, I'm working on behalf of the Kenya government in collaboration with the German government to implement dual training in Kenya in the TVET space. So, what is dual training? Dual training, as per the term, is two, meaning two learning venues. For us who went to school, college, universities, what happened? Most probably you did theory for a better part of your classwork, then you went for industrial attachment for a very short time, maybe 30% or less, between 10% to 30%. So what has been happening in our country? We go to university, college, read a certain course, then when you get into the job market, you are shocked, because what you studied versus what is in the market is not aligned. Yeah? So dual training is industry-led training. And I won't go so deeply into it, but what dual training is, it's industry-led training whereby trainees spend 50% of the time in the industry, at least 50% of the time in the industry, and at most 50% of the time in the TVET institution. And it is very intentional learning whereby the TVET institution chooses the courses as per the demand of the industry. And whatever I share, definitely as we're in the tertiary space, but there are things that you can learn from even in the basic education space, because really we are training our kids for the world of work, for family, to live holistic lives. So, the course selection, the TVET institutions select the course as per what is needed in the industry, okay? So for example, Nairobi Technical, through dual training, have come up with a course called Automotive Mechatronics, which combines mechanical and electrical. Okay, so they chose that course because they saw a gap in the industry. So Nairobi Technical Training Institute sits down with the industry and develops the curriculum. That is what dual training is, okay? So they develop the curriculum. After they develop the curriculum and the curriculum is certified by TVETA, Nairobi Technical advertises the course. Okay, it advertises the course, then people apply. So for those who apply, undergo a screening process. Screening process by the company. What it means is Auto Express have offered 10 training slots and 15 trainees have applied. So those 15 trainees undergo and not an interview for expertise, just to assess, does this person have the skills, not the skills, the attitude and the interest that we are looking for in the trainee. So by the time class starts, that trainee knows I am a trainee under Auto Express. So if the course is 2 years long, the first 3 months the trainee is in school. The next 3 months the trainee is in the industry. The next 3 months the trainee is back to school. So that happens until the end of the course. And what happens, because of that movement of the trainee, the collaboration between the TVET institution and the industry is very close. Because at every learning block, there is a meeting between the TVET institution and the Auto Express technicians asking, how are our students? What can we improve on? Yeah, because before the trainees go to the TVET institution, the TVET trainers tell the industry. When the trainees come to your company, you can expose them to these competencies, okay? So the trainees go, they get exposed to the competencies. After the end of the training block in the company, another meeting happens between the school and the institution. How was it? What did they cover? So by the time the trainee comes back to the school, the trainer knows the level of the training. So actually dual training has grown currently in Kenya. Unfortunately in Kenya in the news, since this is not political, it won't be headlines. Since this is not bad things, it won't be in the headlines. Currently there are 4,000 trainees in the country undergoing dual training. So it has really grown. Currently more than 3,000 companies have offered training slots in dual training. So it has really grown across all sectors, and up to actually over 60, between 60 to 100 TVET institutions, specifically 80 something, are already implementing dual training, okay? Institutions that are under the Ministry of Education. So, that was a long introduction, but don't worry, it's getting somewhere. So when Wabi reached out, I remembered, when you were in school, and for me, I joined drama because, yes, I know I'm gifted in drama, but on the other hand, I wanted to escape from boarding school. And many of us did that so that we can go to the funkies and socialize, all that. But little did we know that actually it was such a stage for us to thrive. Because I was even looking at the program and I could see familiar people who we were in the drama space. Right now I'm not an actress. Right now I'm not in the television, although my background is in media. But we didn't know that actually we were really being accelerated in things like teamwork, confidence, grit, discipline, social skills without knowing. And Wabi is here today. If you've not heard Wabi's voice, go and ask her to sing for you. For me, she has a better voice than Adele. She has a beautiful singing voice. Ukweli? Beautiful singing voice. And then the aspects of music, art, sports, so many times we overlook them, yet they really accelerate where we are. So I'm so glad to be here with the likes of Wabi and other people who are in drama, and drama has brought us here in a way. So we didn't waste time. Actually, I realized my classmates who put aside co-curricular activities to focus on their studies, imagine we are doing better than them. Okay, sorry, let me not floss. So my series mission is true, really tapping into children's gifts and talents to just position kids for success. Because it's in our DNA. Why are we running away from DNA? Why did I have to do biology, chemistry for so many years? We can't. Why are we running away from our DNA? Anyway, so I'm going to speak on collaborative pathways to excellence, strategies for preparing skilled problem solvers for Africa. This is how Wabi takes me seriously. And I'll get to that. But before I delve into that, first things first. Okay? Say first things first. Yes, one of my favorite songs is called First Things First. So let me just mention that the concept note is the best concept note I've ever seen. Did you guys see the concept note of this event? Have you seen another better concept note? No, it's such a fantastic concept note. And the concept note in itself is a speech on its own. So I wanted us to just look at some things from the concept note and ask questions. And the reason why I thought I'm meeting educators like myself is because of the challenges that I've encountered in my space. See, I've started the explanation of dual training, telling you how it's working and amazing and all, but on the ground it has been difficult. You know, the trainers of the TVET institutions, even after getting the directive from their boss, the principal secretary of TVET, the cabinet secretary for education, they'd still be so rigid not to move away from NEC, because they are so used to NEC. So we'd expect them to do certain things in class, but somehow later on we realized they were not doing that. They were just going back to what they know. Yeah, NEC was fine, but we know the challenges that it had. So actually dual training is a method of implementing CBET, competency-based education and training. It's a method. So it has been so hard to train those trainers to move. And you know what, there's a time, since I've been to Germany, I've not yet been to Finland, but in my interactions with my Finnish colleagues, I got to learn that one of the things that Finland regrets the most is how Nokia did not take off. You know, Nokia is Finnish, eh? It did not take off. Why? Why didn't Nokia take off? Why? Interaction? They failed to adapt, yeah, they failed to innovate. And the Finnish did not blame that on others. Actually, the educators blamed that. They put the blame on themselves. They said Nokia did not take off because our education system. So in the past years, what has Finland been doing? Finland has been retweaking the education system for it to develop more creative and innovative individuals. That's what Finland has been doing over the past years. And now, Finland is the #1 world leader in pedagogy, training methods. Because after that setback, they did not say, they did not blame the CEO, they blamed the education system. So, the challenge that I've faced in the TVET space made me realize a few things that are a challenge to us. First of all, actually there is this psychotherapist, yes, Nathaniel Branden, the late Nathaniel Branden. And he used to say, the first step towards change is awareness. I want you to repeat after me. The first step towards change is awareness. Let's say together, the first step towards change is awareness. And there's also another quote that goes hand in hand with that says, the greatest strength is acknowledging actually, let's personalize it. My greatest strength is acknowledging my weakness. Let's say it together. My greatest strength is acknowledging my weakness. Now, let us begin from the home, our homes, okay? I'll give an example of my home, and maybe it will be common to you. My father is in his 70s, my mom is in his 60s. My father, I was raised by great parents, and thankfully they're still alive. And my father worked in one company, Farmer's Choice, for over 20 years. Does that sound familiar? It sounds familiar? Yeah, so we are able, if our parents did not spend so much time in a company for so long, they also, maybe you grew up in the village setup, and there was not much change. So let's have a conversation. In our homes, were we really trained to be creative and innovative and be fit for the uncertain world? Were we? Okay. Watu wa 844 wenye tulipitia 844 sema hoye. Ha. From the home to the system. 844 baby, it was good. It was good. It had its strengths. We would go to school with very heavy bags, tukikuwa watoto, which was close to child labor, but at least we are hardworking, right? 844 increased our literacy levels, so Kenyans, we are known to be fantastic communicators. I'm even communicating to you in English, which is not my first language. Yeah, fantastic communicators. It did its part, eh? But what were the challenges of 844? Anyone? You study hard. It was very, yes? Cram. If you do not cram, you will not pass the high school and chemistry exam. And what does that do? Did that train us in critical thinking? No, it was cramming. What else? What else? Are you in the system? So it's hard to not know what is wrong with the system. What else? Teacher. Fantastic. Teacher-centered. And something else, it was very rigid. The curriculum was very rigid and outdated. Yeah? What else? I want to say, baby, you know where I'm getting to. Lack of practical, kwanza, this one pains me. This one pains me, lack of practical skills. Because 844 is very theoretical. And that is why we are where we are as a nation. Kenya, we are fantastic writers. We develop amazing policies, amazing strategies, but doing, this one pains me, and that is actually I got into the TVET space to implement, because I'd see so many policies that are not being implemented. So many of us are good in writing, saying, but not doing. That's why when I go to government offices, there's so many files that are gathering dust of things that were meant to be done and were not done. And that's why countries like Singapore took our urban development plan and are running with it. We developed it, but they have implemented it. Ouch. Do you remember the quotes that I told you? The first one is, the first step towards change is awareness. And the second one? The greatest strength is acknowledging our weakness. Now, we're the same educators who are tasked. You've seen that concept, not how it's amazing. Who are tasked with developing the creativity, innovation, and flexibility of our learners for an uncertain world. Are we qualified? Are we qualified? Almost. You know, we cannot give what we don't have. We cannot give what we don't have. And the good thing is, we are alive, so it's not too late even if we are adults. So even in our old age, there are things that we can do intentionally. And what I've seen in the dual training, it has really been working because it is intentional. So even for us as educators, the things we need to do intentionally, at least to try and catch up with other people who are privileged to grow up in households where the first thing you do in the morning is do puzzles and chess, and the next thing, So what are some of the things, I'm getting to a close, what are some of the things that we can do to develop our creativity, our flexibility, our innovativeness as educators so that we can pass it down to those we are tasked with? What are some of the things that we can do? This side, I've not heard you. What are some of the things that you can do as an adult? Tururu. It's only a certain age that know that sound. The rest, don't worry. 5 minutes left. Okay. I'll quickly state. You're in the right path. You're here. Okay? Yeah, you're here. You're learning. So, intentionally, yes, clap for yourselves. Clap for yourselves. Intentionally cultivating a growth mindset, okay? Learn from, the communities that are like Indians are very good in meditation. Let's learn from these communities. Encourage self-reflection and seek feedback regularly. We can be very defensive with feedback when we're given feedback, but seek feedback. How am I doing? Even your students can give you feedback. My daughter gave me feedback about her teacher, which was very good feedback. Even our students can give us feedback. Engage, obey. I'm a mother of 3. Yes, I've got good genes. So engage in lifelong learning. You're here, so that's a step. And something else that we really forget in our busyness, setting aside time every week for creative activities. Every week, set aside. Our brains, we need to exercise our neurons in that line. Exercise creative activities. It can be music, art, hobbies that challenge the way you think. I'm privileged to have a mentor who's a CEO in a group of companies, and he does this very strictly. Every week he has to engage in a hobby. He has time for that, okay? Because he understands the importance. Training ourselves for change, which is difficult, and this entails intentionally placing ourselves in new opportunities, new projects at work. It continues exercising and growing our brain. Another thing, you see in this room, how beautiful it is, beautiful chairs, this colorful stuff. This is intentional. Actually, in Japanese culture, we know a lot of ikigai. Okay, I'll not delve into that. But there's a term called iki in Japanese. Iki, yeah? Really, it speaks about having spaces that enhance our creativity. And these spaces that enhance our creativity are not spaces that are cluttered. They are colorful, they are peaceful, and that is why when you go to the houses of the wealthy, which I can see some of you are, the houses are very intentional. You get into that house and it's just beautiful. See, maploti zetu za paipu, iki, being intentional with our spaces. And what you're doing here, networking, it helps. So, as I close, let me show you some quick, since it's about collaboration. So what I'll do, since we're in an experience sharing session, I'll show some pictures of what is happening in the TVET space. Yeah? Very quickly as I close. Thank you. Okay, I'll explain that a bit later. So maybe something that even in the basic education we can learn from what is currently happening in the TVET space. And actually, as I speak, the graduates, over 90% of them already have job opportunities across the country. Yeah, so it's working. Thank you. It's working. And it will work even more because we'll have so many skilled graduates who also, you will know the other countries have an aging population anyway. Okay, I'll not get into that. But they're really getting skilled opportunities. They're really getting jobs, and also quite a number of them are getting into self-employment because of the skill. So I already mentioned that there is very close collaboration with the industry. And also in the basic education space, I think I've not been seeing a lot of collaboration because really we are training for the same thing. We are training for the industry, we are training for the world of work, we are training for family. So are there intentional collaborations between you as an institution, other institutions, other policymakers, even the job market? I teach some 12-year-olds and already there is one person who's going to an attachment at that age. Job market. To expose, yes, to expose him. Definitely it's the Brays and the Brooks, the schools at that age. So what we have done, we are collaborating very closely with industry. As you can see, this is a TVET institution, Kitale National Polytechnic. Now CMC have advertised the course. So CMC Motors said, we have training slots. So if you want to train with us, apply at Kitale National Polytechnic. At first, we were not getting applications. At first, we got only 8 applications, but after this advert got out, we got over 300 applications. The power of collaboration. Okay? So Kitale National Polytechnic really collaborating with CMC Motors in even things that we wouldn't think will collaborate with companies, advertising. You remember the screening that I mentioned? The screening and selection? So this is in Taita Taveta National Polytechnic. This boy here is finished high school last year and is being screened by a company expert. Yeah, also it saves on time because sometimes people choose courses just because of choosing courses. But then if someone is not really fit for that course, they are told, really, how about you explore another course? Yeah, collaborating, intentionally thinking of collaborative strategies and partners in every step of the way for success. This can be the last one. I said because of the movement between the trainees and industry, there needs to be very close collaboration between the two learning venues, the institution and the industry. So this is a meeting between an institution in Busia called Bumbe Technical Training Institute, meeting with the automotive technology companies in Kisumu to really assess how is the training going. So these are the changes that are happening in the space, in the TVET space, that also other people, even in the basic education space, university space, can tap into. How can we be so effective in collaboration that from curriculum development to training implementation to post-training, which partners can we collaborate with and have intentional conversations on changing because the world is changing. We have been called to this. Teaching is a calling. We have been called to this. We have the potential if we are intentional. Asanteni.
Myself or Wakafa, that's why I took a moment, but I also wanted you to clap some more for her, so now you've given me an excuse. Thank you so much, Hope, and I'm sure you can find her bio on our program. For those who might not know, it's on somasiriafrica.tech/festival. somasiriafrica.tech/festival. You can go to the agenda, speakers, and then she's Hope Muturi. Thank you so much, Hope, for tying it in so well. And I had to mention coding and chess, and I'm sure you will all see why in the next.
Can you hear me? Have I switched it on?
One, two.
Thank you. Thank you. Iko on kweli? Joshua, can you hear me?
Sound check, 1, 2.
I don't know why microphones like doing this thing. and this table is making me feel even shorter. Hope it didn't look this far, this close when you were here. All right, so as I mentioned, we first started by introducing the institutions that are here. You notice me moving forward so that I'm not beside the table. Started by mentioning the institutions that are here, and Hope did a good job of bringing in the school work with industry. So it's interesting for us to know who in industry is here. By industry, I mean who in the world of work is here. They're not a student, and they're not teaching students or preparing students. They are literally in the world of work. They can introduce themselves just the same way, say your name and the organization, but for you, you can say what you do, because now it's not obvious. If you say St. Paul's University, it's obvious. Who's here from an organization or a company is another way to put it.
My name is Mordecai. I'm with Wow Pianos Limited. We sell pianos. It's at the Well Shopping Mall, Karen.
Wow. So he mentioned they sell pianos, and I know you can see the beautiful grand piano there. Alice is the CEO. She sent me my first piano, the piano that we started Siri with. That's why Wow Pianos is so dear to us, and we're really honored to have you. You can also see they've brought us another beautiful piano here. They sell them, and they sell them to schools as well. So they also do tuning. Please, if you don't have a piano in your institution, speak to Wow Pianos. They also have very good plans. But I know Mountain View have a piano. I used it, but I wasn't a student of music at the time. Any other? She'll speak on your behalf.
Hi. 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 Hi everyone. My name is Videlis. That is her sign name. I work as a disability inclusion facilitator and a light of the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. But now you have to introduce yourself, because we know Fidelis, but now.
Hi, good morning everyone. Is it morning? Good afternoon. My name is Pauline Muthoni. I'm a sign language interpreter. Thank you.
Thank you, Pauline, and thank you for coming, which brings us to Light for the World, an amazing partner that we have. Mercy, please do me the honor. As she comes, I will mention just how we are partnering with them is in terms of making sure that Somasiri Africa is disability inclusive and making sure that everything that we do is disability inclusive. So our curriculum, our teaching methodology, and sometimes Mercy, of course, will check and say, this activity was not inclusive.
Good morning, everyone. Like she has mentioned, my name is Mercy Mugure. I'm from Light for the World. I'm a disability inclusion advisor. We look at programs, organizations, and support them ensuring that we employ, we work, we train persons with disabilities. TVET is doing a good job. We are happy to partner with them. So I'm inviting all of us to have this conversation because persons with disability are in our communities, in our societies, and we don't have any special place we can say this belongs to persons with disabilities. For Somasiri, we are excited for the partnership and the support that you are offering. Thank you so much. I can invite one of our mentees, another disability inclusion facilitator, Tabi, come. Disability inclusion facilitators is a model that we use. We train young people on how they can go, because we may not be everywhere, but training them, mentoring them, then they're able to go out there and support different organizations. And Tabi is supporting specifically Somasiri.
Hello guys, I'm Tabitha Kabura. I identify myself as a woman with psychosocial disability. I don't know if you have ever heard of schizophrenia, bipolar. Yeah, so we work with Siri and other organizations just to create awareness and also advocate for inclusivity. So thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Tabi. We're excited to see you again. She came for we had a graduation in our campus in Roro, and she was there to support the students with disability who we had onboarded. Thank you so much. Any other organization? Please don't feel left out. Hi, Philbe. Welcome. Bienvenue. Yeah, you sir.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. Yeah, it's a pleasure to join this wonderful festival. My name is Getao. I run a telematics company. Telematics, in very simple words, is vehicle tracking, asset security, fleet and fuel management. And yeah, we're happy to join this festival. You can visit us, our desk is right out there for more information, and we'll let you know what we do and how we partner with Siri. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. How they partner with Siri and how he partners with me. All right, for those who don't know, I am also a mother of two. That also means that there is a father, and that is him. His name is Getao. All right, I can see another organization who are fellows with us in this EdTech Fellowship. I know iHub introduced us in the beginning, and they said we're 12 startups that are honored to be part of the fellowship. Their CEO is here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm always enjoying Wadi that she's very tiny, but today she came with security. So you are the biggest in the room. My name is Julius Irongo from Isoma Kids, where we are trying to make sure that all these children are able to, at the very least, read the name Siri Africa and be able to join every other program that can be developed in the world, because at the most basic level, they know the letters, they know the numbers at their own pace. So we have a program called platform called Isoma Kids. When I look at you, I see so many users of Isoma Kids with your young children. Wabi, I'm also going to register you today. You have to start using Isoma Kids so that even as you enlist them into Siri Africa, they can say Siri Africa. Thank you very much for supporting one of our own. She's doing an amazing job with this program, and I really hope that we can all appreciate, as a country, as a continent, all the different pathways that we are available for our children, so that the main goal is to give them a bright future, to unlock their potential and make sure that life doesn't look like a wall for them. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Julius. And now I want to put a pause on that for a minute. We will get back to organizations and industry. If I give you too many, you'll even forget who you listen to, right? So right now I have the honor and privilege, serious honor and privilege, of inviting our keynote speaker. Our keynote speaker is not the last speaker, but he's the keynote speaker. And thank you, Frank and Martin. And I'll talk to you about why I requested him to be our keynote speaker, and it was quite an honor. I met Dr. I never know which comes before, doctor or brother or doctor. I say I'm always like brother, doctor, brother. Then he's like neither. He prefers to be called Jonas. And for me, I'm an African, I cannot call him Jonas. So it's always so stressful for me. So you'll understand me when I say Dr. Brother Jonas Yawovi. I met him when we were doing a conference called Africa Forward. There's a movement called Africa Forward. Please, everybody say Africa Forward. Yeah, we are live on YouTube, so I want to make sure they hear. We represented them. Just say it again, one last time. Africa Forward. Thank you so much. I'm passionate about Africa, and as you can tell even from the name of our organization. And because of that, we met at Africa Forward Movement, where an organization called Catalyst 2030, together with the World Economic Forum, the MasterCard Foundation, and quite a number of big shots were there. It was my first time in a room with the director of the World Economic Forum. That was crazy. So I'm there, and I'm sure Doctor was wondering, what is this tiny person doing here? So he didn't ask me that, but he did call me aside and ask me, so what do you do? And when I spoke about what we do, he said, that's very interesting. I'd like my students to come over. And that started a partnership with Tangaza University that has really transformed not just my life, but the lives of my team members, the lives of the students that we're touching. Tangaza University has a really special place in Somasiri, Africa. And I'm excited to see them here at Gloria. Of course, I know them by name now, quite a number of their students. We participated in what they organize. It's called the Annual African Conference on Social Entrepreneurship. Amazing conference. Please make sure you sign up for the next one, because it brings together different people from the continent of Africa. Literally my first time meeting people from all the countries in Africa in one room, seriously discussing preparing problem solvers for, thank you, I have to say that Africa powerfully, thank you. Preparing problem solvers for Africa. And I know Laktari took us through why Africa is important, and I'm sure we don't need to be taken through. We all know why Africa is important for the next frontier of the global citizenship. We can't be the ones pulling people down. For those who are teachers, Mr. Sava used to say, I'll say it in Kiswahili, then I'll translate. Nani wanashikilia? Nani wanashikilia? Yeah, who's pulling the tail? We can't be the ones pulling the tail, pulling people down, and yet we know that we have the seriously immense potential to transform the whole continent, the whole world actually. Yeah, so it's an honor to invite Dr. Brother Jonas Yawovi. I will not read his extensive bio, very extensive, but he is the director of the Institute of Social Transformation at Tangaza University. He's from Togo, but we captured him and made him Kenyan by force, and now with the Kiswahili lessons that I'm doing, he should be fully Kenyan in the next few. He is a critical educator and social entrepreneur, very passionate about social entrepreneurship and social innovation around that. And his experience in higher education spans over 20 years in Malawi, Zambia, and Kenya. So you can find his bio on our program. Please welcome, help me welcome. Makofi na shangwe.
Thank you, Wabi. Good afternoon. I want to start by saying that I really enjoyed the informal interaction that is happening here. You know, sometimes this kind of gathering are very formal. We are used to sometimes very formal gathering, but I think this morning I find a community. So Wabi say I'm going to give a keynote. I'm not going to give a keynote, but I'm going to give a reflection. So you'll see me jumping from one end to another, okay? I'd like to start by saying that I'm a very optimistic educator. And then you'll understand towards the end why I say that I'm an optimistic educator. You know, people who teach in university, they call them lecturer professors. I try to avoid the word lecturers. You know what does it mean, lecturer? You know what it means? Yeah, lecturer means the one who goes to tell you what you need to know. Okay, and that is the problem with the education system that we have. I want to start by giving some diagnosis. When you go to the hospital, the first thing the doctor does is to look at you and say, what are you sick of, right? It's always good to do the diagnosis. And let me start with something that Hope said. when she was talking, then I was thinking, talking about this dual system, okay? And I tell you a small story before I address the issue of the topic Wabi gave me about innovative curricula and strategy for developing innovators and problem solvers. 3 years ago, we started developing a program on social business innovation, okay? A very new and very innovative program. And I was insisting that this program is not going to be like the other programs. So the program will have a student doing 1 trimester in class. The next trimester, they are not going to be in class. They will be with an entrepreneur because we want students to become social entrepreneur. The next trimester, they will be an entrepreneur. The other trimester, they will come to class for 3 months, and they will go back. That is how they will earn their degree. So there is half-half, okay? Can you imagine what was the reaction? Are you crazy? This can never happen in university. We fought that. And they kept telling me, even the commission will not approve a program like that, okay? Why am I telling you this story? But we push for it. Why am I telling this story is about the problem we have with education on this continent. When we got independence, we inherited a system, political education system, economic system. Unfortunately, our forefathers, they were busy fighting for independence. They never had time to think about what do we need now for this continent. I want you to start thinking about where the problem is coming from. Okay? They never sat down and asked themselves, we are African. Now the whites have gone. Which system of education do we need? No, we continue with the same. We embrace that. And because we have been having so many challenges, political turmoils and all that, and people who have been trained find it difficult to get out of the system, we are where we are today, with the education system that is really problematic. So when you look at the curricula that train us or that we use in our system, what do you observe? The first thing you observe is that there is a disconnect. First, people who develop those curricula, they sit in a room, they make some assumption, and they develop that. And there is no connection between the curricula that is used to train the workforce or the human capital for this continent and the reality out there. So that is one problem with the curricula that we have. And the second problem we have with the curricula is how is it delivered? Okay? We have teachers here, and we have educators. Sometimes the curricula is like something that is cast on stone. Okay? It doesn't change. And even when things, in an era where things are moving very fast, it takes long to change a curriculum. I can tell you, you'll be shocked that there are still countries in Africa that are using curriculum developed in the 80s. There are still countries. Okay? How do you want to solve problem of today when we are using curriculums that are developed in the 80s? The other problem that we have is those who put together the curriculum that we use are people who don't know what is innovation. They don't. And I'm not blaming them, but I'm saying these are people who have been formed in a particular system. You know how a system locks you in, then you don't think to get out of the system? That is how it works. Okay? So, at the end of the day, they will give you something that is not responding to the reality of today. And I say this, I'm also being an educator, I'm also very critical of what we do, okay, as educators. The if you want to find the most difficult people to teach or to train for innovation, come to academia. That is where you find them. They are very difficult because they think they know everything. They know everything, so that becomes also very difficult for people who, maybe you are out there, you have a lot of innovation, and then you want to come and tell us, you people, professors and all that, I think you need to change something. They will look at you and say, from which planet are you coming from? And what are you going to tell us? First, they look at you and say, do you have a PhD? Before you can talk to us. So, I really want to bring these things to you to kind of tell you where our problems are. And unfortunately, this kind of system is what is contributing greatly to the problem of unemployment that we have. To the problem of unemployment that we have. Let me tell you a story. I was, 2 weeks ago, a conference we ran in DRC. And it's called DRC Social Innovation Summit. I was there, and we met this great innovator. He has, you can check, he has created a village. It's called Songhai Village. Developed a totally different model of agriculture. He basically revolutionized agriculture. And he's from Nigeria. He's a priest from Nigeria. When he had the idea, they didn't want him, basically. So he started it in Benin, okay? And then he was telling me, now the government of Nigeria is running after me, giving me land to solve the problem of the young people. Before, they could not see it. Now they are giving me, because, this Gen Z uprising, the problem that people are facing, they are looking for solution anywhere. Then they're going to fight him to say, we give you this 1,000 hectares of land, try to do something, and then they want to fund it, okay? So, I'm telling you again, this story to tell you we are contributing to the problem. And I strongly believe that education is playing a crucial part in the problem that we face in our society today. The example of Nokia that you gave also it makes that point. So, if we want to move out of that, what should we do? I want you to realize that the development of any country, any continent is tied to education system that they have. There is a real connection between the two. If you have education system that is not developing, giving you or producing the human capital that are contributing to innovate, you will always be running to China, to America, to look for talent, to look for solution. Sometimes these days we have people, they go to get everything from outside, even things that can be produced locally. What is that telling you? You are going to create a job opportunity for other countries of things that you can do here. And you can look at it even in infrastructure, in technology and all that. So, we have to understand that if we want to develop, we need to fix education. Without fixing education, we cannot develop. Okay? And I think that is one of my suggestion for all the people in the space of educators. I was also very happy to learn iHub is doing a lot of work with the educators. That is also very interesting. So if we want to prepare the future talent, or the present and the future talent, what should we do? First, we need to rethink how two things. The curricula that we use, the content that we put in those curricula, the content and the pedagogy that we use, how we teach. I think that's why I believe in what Siri is doing. And if you are able to fix those things, then we'll be moving our education to become innovative, transformative education and education that respond to the time, the challenge of our time, okay? And it's also important that we look at education at all level, okay? At all level, from primary up to university. And what is interesting, which I want to stress, that's why when Wabi asked me to come, I move my class so that I can be here and understand what is happening. And because I think that's what you are doing with children is very important. Sometimes we are not deliberate thinking about what we do with the children has a direct impact of what society is going to be. I want you to kind of look, maybe you'll say, all those people addressing Isoma kids, Isoma Siri and all that, targeting the kid. They are doing things probably that we don't feel, say they are just kids, they are just working with the kids. I just want you to stop a moment and ask yourself, which kind of society do we want to have in the next 10, 15 years? Which society do we want to have? Which kind of society do we have? We want to have. That society, whatever society you envision, should influence what you do with the kids who are 5 years, 6, 7, 8 years. Okay? And be able to make the connection. So the kind of people you are working with today, in the next 10 years, we want to see a new, different generation of young people. That's how important it is to start fixing the problem from early age. That we bring up young kids who think different. I want to believe, I've not yet interacted with some of you, with your kids or the things that you, but I want to believe that the kids you are working with start to think differently. Okay? Start to think differently. You know, my students are here, some of my students are here. One of the problems I have with the student is they are so much used to, as I think it was mentioned, to memorize things, you know, that they find it very difficult to even challenge their fellow student, okay? And also say, what the lecturer is telling me, I have some question about that, okay? So the only way I know my student are thinking, you know, it's not, you know what it means by thinking? They start thinking critically, is when they start questioning me. When they start telling me, you know, you have said this, but I don't agree. Then I said, now they are becoming a student, thinking, okay? So this young generation that you are preparing is going to be a totally different generation. But I want to emphasize that for us to be able to change this continent, we need a critical mass. That's a very important point I want to make. You know, what Wabi and, some of our kids are doing, very important. But can we have so many of them all over the places? Are you thinking about how you can replicate, you can, scale this model? So, I know my time is running. What I want to say is to change and the way we teach and to prepare the innovators. It's not only a question of educators. Educators have maybe 90% of the role to play, but also parents, okay? So what are some of the things that we need to do? The first is that we need to start retraining educators. I think I like what you said, Hope, but we have to invest in training educators. You say that we can only give, we cannot give what we have. Okay, so what does it mean? That if we don't have educators prepared, then it's going to be very difficult. The second thing that we need to do is create an innovative environment in our institution. Innovation should not be an appendix of what we do. It should be the core of what we do. Basically, any student getting into education should know that I have to become innovators. The third thing is parents. You have to be part of the education of your kids. Whenever they come home, ask them, what have you learned today? Start asking questions to your kids. What have you learned today? How is that related to, the real life situation? Ask 1 or 2 questions. What are you going to do with what you learned today? Okay? So parents should think that supporting their education, or the education of their kids is part of helping the kids to be innovative. Asking them those basic questions when they come back to school. Okay? And allow your kid to be very curious. That's one of the things I've seen. Even parents who are highly educated with good intention, they prevent their kids from being curious. Allow the kids or the young people coming, who are in your families to be curious, to ask questions. That is how we will create the next generation of innovators and problem solvers. Without that, maybe 40 years later, some of us will not be here, but maybe some people will still be here talking about this thing. Let's change this education system. So we don't want to come back 40 years later and be talking about the same thing. So we want to see that the work that Wabi and all others are doing, we want to see that kind of work replicated. Hope talked about collaboration. I think collaboration also allows us to change things that are not working. So we need to foster collaboration, trying to find ways of saying what you are doing, how can it be useful for, academia, university, or industry, so that together we can prepare the generation that we need to shape this continent. I strongly believe that this is possible. I strongly believe that there are already some positive signs, things that are happening. We can take it to another level. Thank you.
Campusarians, I'm not even hearing some lili. We have to know Gen Zs are in the building. Let's clap again, then we give them the job of ululating. Let's clap. Yeah. Thank you. We can't forget you in the building. Eh? All right, thank you so much, Dr. Jonas. Thank you for that. Thank you also for what I was telling Hope, how you've tied it into Siri Africa. I'm sure it helps people be able to see, so this is what Siri is doing. And Julius was telling me, when you explain Siri, it's so complicated. Now today, nimeanza kuelewa. I've started understanding. So for those of you like Val, who it's your first time, Kelsey, I'm hoping that through the immersion that you're going through, it's becoming clear. For them, it's difficult trying to understand when I say talent-led education. What is talent-led? What do you mean talent-led? What is that? And so that's what we're going through, and I hope you remember the challenge that our curriculum director gave us. It was a Siri Solvers challenge. Let me read it to you for the sake of those who came after the challenge was given, because there are prizes to be won. It's a festival, remember? So the challenge is, how would you use your learners' gifts and talents to develop their capacity to solve real-life problems? How would you use your learners' gifts and talents to develop their capacity to solve real-life problems? I was going to say real-life talents. Yeah, so that's what we're thinking around. And so with everything that we're doing, as we are listening to each of the speakers, that's what we should be trying to solve. I want to see the best superhero for Africa here. So we're going to the next part of our session. I've taken over from you, Waka, just for a moment. And we said hub tours. So you started with 3 hubs. Let me take on the hat of an educator, although I'm not an educator. I'm a psychologist, but I like being called a teacher because teachers change lives, yeah? Well, psychologists, we do too, but teachers are amazing. I think they're more amazing. So You went to the first 3 hubs. Anyone who remembers the names of the hubs that you went to, for the sake of those who are late? Hey, St. Paul's University must show us.
It was naturalistic, kinesthetics, and next.
And? Yeah, you said it actually. Naturalistic, linguo something, Duolingo. Verbal linguistics. So that's where the psychology comes in. And for the educators, I'm hoping you've had something that you're familiar with. They said naturalistic intelligence. Kinesthetic intelligence. Verbal linguistic intelligence. Those are any educators familiar with what those are? You must show us you've been to Siri. The
multiple intelligence.
Thank you. Well, some claps for him. Perfect. The multiple intelligences. So we've been immersing you in our philosophy. Our philosophy is that of multiple intelligences. And so you went to the first 3 hubs. For those who didn't, they missed, right? I saw people having a good time, but not to worry. We set up 3 other hubs for you. So Waka is going to come and lead us in that session so that we can leave. You have your wristbands. So yes, as Doctor said, it's not a formal. Siri is all about making sure formal education is fun, digestible, but complex. Before Waka comes, I'd like to introduce one amazing partner that's here with us. Just one, and then we go. Please, Faulu Kenya. They want us to Faulu, and they have really done a lot for Siri, and we are in partnership, so Rastas, makofi yake so that I can Faulu.
Thanks a lot, Wabi. Good afternoon. My name is Erastus Gitahi from Faulu Microfinance Bank. Faulu Microfinance Bank is a subsidiary of Old Mutual Group. I know majority of you know Old Mutual. So we are a member of that group. And I was reading the theme, and allow me to, I know we have educator who leads once and then it sticks. So the theme is Pathway to Excellence, Empowering Future-Focused School to Develop Skilled Problem Solver for Africa. I think, okay. I think where we come in as a bank, as you develop problem solver, definitely you need resources. And as a financial institution, targeting the majority of the community we have here, I know we have developers, we have schools, we have university. So as a bank, we come in to help you achieve your dreams. We finance your project. We finance like the school bus. Of course, you want these kids, when they are going to maybe Siri for training, you need them to be transported in a safe, vehicle. So we are able to finance that. We also finance you acquire equipment like the piano, so that you can be able to train and have, kids who can be able to solve problems. So basically, as a bank and being members of Old Mutual, we have partnered with Siri because we want to empower your kids. Apart from them gaining also the life skills, we also want them to be responsible in terms of the financial management. So we will be developing a program together with the Siri, whereby even these young kids can be able to have accountant teach them on how to manage their finances at a very tender age, so that by the time they are becoming, I've seen their various stages of their various stages, like levels under the Siri program. By the time they are going to the hub level, there are people who can be able to manage finances and be able to make sound financial decisions. So mine is to welcome you to Faulu Bank and Old Mutual. We help you grow your investment. At the same, we also help you protect by offering you insurance solutions. So we are happy to be here today, and we also tomorrow. We also be we will also be with you. And now the problem solvers will be interacting with them, but as the people decision maker. So we ask you, if you don't have an account, feel free to walk in a Faulu Microfinance Bank, open an account with us, and I'm sure once you become a member, we will be able to walk you through each and every step of your life. So for schools, for university, we do offer bridging finance when the schools have closed. So when don't fail to pay the teacher, don't fail to repair desk, don't fail to do renovation because you don't have finances. So we come in and we are able to finance you and make sure at least during the holidays, the activities of the school run smoothly. So thank you very much, and thank you so much, Siri, for this opportunity. Asanteni.
A round of applause to Faulu once more time. As you help your neighbor to upstand for a minute, and we can stretch, we're going to write words with our body. So this is the way you write C. Then O, then C again, and then N, and then U, and then T. What word have we written? Coconut. So we go again. Make sure you do it again. We go C, C, and then O, again C, N. Aha, we'll start again. Aha, I can see you're really, really keen. Let's go. C, and then O, C, O, N, U, T. Aha, what if we wrote S, an S? This is the way you go about it. All right. So we're writing Siri, all right? So let's go. S, and then O, S. Let's go again. S. Everybody S. S, the other side. And then O, M. How do you write M? All right, M, everyone. Then S, I, just standing like you are. R, and then I. Again we go Siri, the full of it. V to go S, O, M, A, S, I, R, I. You can have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen, remember we are live on YouTube at #SomaSiri, #Siri Solvers Festivals, #SSSF. Live on YouTube again at #SomaSiri Afrika, #SSF 2024. Si makofi mzuri kwetu. Kwa hivyo ujichunge, usijipate umesinzia kidogo na upatikane ukiwa Umefungua mdomo. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to break for our herbs, and then we can have the AfriDub team leading us. Yellow and purple, you're going to the logical math. So yellow and purple, we can be upstanding, and we follow our yellow. They have the tags. Yellow and purple, we're headed for logical math. We have some newcomers. If you have a tag, you must be having a tag.